Do not try this at home or on a plane. What you're about to see is wildly impractical, absurdly expensive, and did I mention, completely impractical. But when you combine the Asus ROG Ally X, a bunch of peripherals, and a custom cooling enclosure, you get what is probably the most ridiculous gaming setup I've ever built, especially considering I'm using it 30,000 feet in the air. Before we continue, thanks to RocketMoney for sponsoring this video. Not long ago, I was reviewing my bank statements and noticed I was still paying for a bunch of old subscriptions I hadn't used in ages. Over $200 a month was quietly draining from my account, and that's when I decided to try RocketMoney. RocketMoney is a smart personal finance app that helps you cut out unused subscriptions, lower your bills, and get your finances under control, all while saving you money. With RocketMoney, I was able to cancel unwanted subscriptions in just a few taps. The app scans your recurring charges and handles the cancellations for you. No more dealing with annoying customer service calls. You can even upload a photo of your bill, and RocketMoney will work to negotiate it down, whether it's your cable, internet, or phone service. People who use all of RocketMoney's premium features save up to $740 a year, and the app has helped users cancel over $500 million in subscriptions so far. Don't let unnecessary expenses eat into your savings. Head to rocketmoney.com/bitwit or click the link in the description to start using RocketMoney for free. Want more features? Upgrade to premium anytime. Again, that's rocketmoney.com/bitwit. Get started today for free. I had a 14-hour flight from Los Angeles to Taiwan ahead of me, and I figured it was finally time to actually play Cyberpunk 2077, a game I've benchmarked for reviews countless times, but never sat down to enjoy. I wanted the full experience, which meant the closest thing to a desktop setup. But how do you pull that off in a cramped airplane seat? Sure, a gaming laptop sounds like a logical choice, but I still remember the neck strain and toasty wrists from the last time I tried that. Plus, battery life is a joke, and plain power outlets barely keep entry-level machines alive. On the other hand, handhelds like the Steam Deck or Ally X can sip power efficiently enough to last an entire flight. But the diva in me needs a keyboard and mouse for a shooter like Cyberpunk. Easy fix, right? Just plug some peripherals into the handheld and off you go. Except, where do you even put it? The tray? Too cramped with a mouse and keyboard. The floor? Risky. Ah, the seat pouch. Starving it of airflow might build character, right? Clearly, if I was gonna make the Ally X the centerpiece for this airborne battle station, I'd need to give it a proper home and protect it. My solution? Stick it in its original retail box and tuck it under the seat in front of me. Luckily, I was flying premium economy, so there was enough legroom to make it work. But while the box keeps the device protected, it's also a heat trap. So I cut a hole in the bottom and mounted a Noctua NF A12 120mm fan inside. After removing the rubber corners, it fits the box perfectly. I also added fan grills to both sides and locked everything down with machine screws. Now I had cool air from the bottom directed at the Ally X's rear intake, but to make room for the unit's top exhaust vents, I made another cutout on the side of the box as well, then hit the edges with a black Sharpie to clean up the look. The lid needed the same treatment, but more on that in a sec. To give the Ally X some clearance between the fan and reduce turbulence, I found a wooden thing. Baseboard, crown molding, I'm not sure what this is, but I cut it into two identical blocks to rest the hand grips on, lifting the device just enough for airflow. In hindsight, angling the cuts would have helped the exhaust vents breathe better, but I made do. Rubber feet on one side gave me the slope I needed, and I screwed the blocks into the box from below. A couple felt pads on top gave the Ally X a soft landing zone. Now for the lid cutout. The cardboard was too thick and wobbly for my knife, so out came the jigsaw, which cuts through cardboard just fine, in case you were wondering. I cleaned up the cut with more Sharpie work, and voila! Now, having the lid closed blocks the handheld's power button and USB-C ports, but these right-angle Type-C adapters easily solve the latter. These ports will be used for power delivery to the Ally X and connecting all our peripherals with the hub. One of those peripherals being the Noctua fan, to which I connected a simple USB fan controller with an on-off switch and speed dial. Originally, I planned to run it off of a small battery pack inside the box, but as you'll see, I eventually found a better solution, so just ignore them for now. More adhesive rubber feet were added to the bottom of the box to let the fan breathe, with a few dabs of super glue just to be safe. For easy access to the fan controller, I drilled 2 holes and zip-tied the dial near the exhaust cutout so it can be adjusted without opening the box. To keep the lid secure, I installed metal latches on both sides, which can even be padlocked to make this cardboard box completely impenetrable. I also added a mechanical solution to power on the Ally without opening the box, a small hole, nylon standoff, and nut aligned with the power button. Push the nut, and the standoff flexes forward just enough to press the button. Unfortunately, the device was still rattling inside the box when closed, so I measured and glued a few furniture pads to the inside of the lid. With the latches shut, the pads apply light pressure to the screen, holding the Ally X securely in place. Finally, I added a USB-C hub that supports PD 3.0 and 100-watt power pass-through. It has HDMI and Ethernet ports, but more importantly, this gave me the USB ports I needed for my peripherals. A single Type-C cable runs from the hub to deliver power and DisplayPort video signal to my external monitor, the Asus ROG Strix XG17. I was also able to connect my wireless mouse dongle and the Noctua fan, which means the fan now powers up and shuts off with the Ally X. I even tidied up the cabling inside to make it easier to insert and remove the handheld. I only had time to briefly test the setup before I had to leave for the airport, and thankfully I did. The good news? The Ally X is a surprisingly capable machine. Cyberpunk 2077 runs in the high 40s to low 50s at 1080p low with Intel XeSS 1.3, which looks surprisingly solid, way better than FSR and close behind DLSS. The Noctua fan kept thermals in check, with the Ryzen Z1 Extreme APU hovering around 69C under load. Nice. The bad news? Power draw. The 777-300ER aircraft I was flying on offers 110-volt outlets with a peak of 100 watts. My setup with a 100-watt charger was pulling around 110 watts, which would trip the breaker and possibly kill the plane outlet for the whole flight. I hadn't accounted for the power demands of the fan, Bluetooth peripherals, and especially the monitor. I discovered that the XG17, a 1080p 240Hz panel on its own, was pulling upwards of 50 watts. Even dialing down the Ally X's TDP to silent mode wasn't enough to get us within our power budget, so I swapped to a 65-watt charger for the Ally X. This let us stay well below the 100-watt cap, only now we weren't charging the external monitor, which would die in a few hours once its internal battery ran out. I hoped it wouldn't come to this, but I decided to power the monitor with a 155 watt-hour battery pack from Westinghouse. Overkill? Maybe. But for a 14-hour flight, I wasn't taking any chances, and at this point, I finally felt confident that we were ready for liftoff. At the airport, TSA flagged my battery pack for inspection, but oddly didn't question my janky cardboard box contraption. Not that I'm complaining. Once on board and in the air, I screwed this suction cup with a 1/4-inch thread to the hole on the back of my monitor in order to mount it to the seat's entertainment screen. Ridiculous? Absolutely. But ergonomically, chef's kiss. I could sit back, rest my head, and look straight ahead with zero neck strain or back pain the entire flight. Felt like I had lay-flat seats. Keyboard and mouse were the Keychron K3 and Logitech Pro X Superlight 2. The K3 has been my go-to travel clacker for years. Compact, sturdy, and thin enough to fit perfectly on the fold-down tray. I'm pretty sure the tray in premium economy is slightly larger than the one in regular economy, which definitely helped here. As for the beefy battery pack, I stashed it beside my feet, leaving its built-in nightlight on for convenience in the dark. The monitor stayed powered the entire flight, leaving the battery pack with around 50% charge by the time we landed, so yeah, overkill. Meanwhile, the Ally X stayed cool and quiet under the seat in front of me for about 10 hours until a flight attendant asked me to remove my monitor from the entertainment screen. But I think this was less due to safety precautions and more likely because she saw me filming. Or she was just jealous of my sick setup. After that happened, I moved the Ally X onto the tray and set the monitor on top of it to reclaim some of the ergonomics I had just been robbed of. It wasn't ideal, it crowded my keyboard and mouse area, but somehow I could still play Cyberpunk comfortably. And play Cyberpunk comfortably I did, for a very long time. Before we continue, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Pulseway. Pulseway is an intuitive platform that lets you conveniently manage all areas of your IT business. Monitor your entire IT setup in real time from anywhere on your desktop, phone, or tablet. From systems and devices to routers and switches, if it has an IP address, you can manage it with Pulseway. Receive instant alerts, fix issues remotely, and optimize your workflow by automating routine tasks. Whether you're a big or small company, it's super easy to set up and scale as your business or user base grows. If you're running an IT business or managing a team, Pulseway puts you in control so you can achieve great results. Right now, viewers get 30% off all pricing plans, so if you're ready for a better way to manage, try Pulseway for free with the link in the description. With keyboard and mouse inputs, proper ergonomics, and continuous power, I was effectively playing on a desktop PC from an airplane seat. It was messy, complicated, and inconvenient, but oh so magical. Would I do it all over again? No. I'd make it even better. Who's ready for round 2?